Here at CSC, we get a lot of benefits for doing a lot of research and getting involved in a lot of online media. And one of the things that I found out recently is that when it comes to Lord of the Rings Shadow of War, the game box and the artwork for this, as well as Shadow of Mordor, kind of remind me of Game of Thrones. Somebody's going to sue somebody, and that can't be good for business. It can't really be good for anybody. But this is Eric Allen, and this is College Success Coaching. Let's get started. So obviously the theme of the week is involved as with the mug of the week, which is the Game of Thrones mug that I just got as a gift, which was amazing. And that's what I do. And this is actually what I do, by the way. I drink coffee and I know things. So this is kind of one of those super appropriate mugs, and it's never a bad idea to do a Game of Thrones theme for the week. So that was really good to get involved with that. Oh, and delicious coffee. So I want to go over a few things with everybody. There are some changes. We have new upgraded gear for the studio, which is great too. Speaking of media equipment, better lighting. We've got better sound equipment. We have a new chair, obviously. So I am able to be much more comfortable and do this for much longer. And as we continue to upgrade and improve the studio, it is, as always, because of my wonderful subscribers. If you are not one of my wonderful subscribers, you're probably just one of my wonderful YouTubers, and that's fine. But why haven't you decided to try out the 2-week free trial? You could jump on right now in the link that's in the description below. You could check out the website and click on to sign up. It's free for 2 weeks. So you're not really contributing to any of the, new chair or anything like that to keep the lights on, but you're still able to really see the back office and the community that we're building and get the benefits there. And then it's cheap after that. It's $50 a week, and you are supporting something that is quickly becoming a huge growing movement on campuses everywhere in the country and hopefully globally soon. There are some more things that I'm excited to announce, including gear for our subscribers and another website and another group that will be coming up for those of you who knows somebody that is graduating college. So more to come. Stay tuned for that as we go forward into January, as well as the release of the book, which will be also coming very quickly. So lots of exciting and fun things. I can't wait for you. Community. Being a part of the beginning of this is actually going to be one of the cool things that you can look back on. And then as it continues to grow and develop and build, you can say, yeah, I remember when Eric was doing that and he was excited about getting a new light. And that would be today, my friends. So can't wait to see you there. In the meantime, I think it is prudent for us to discuss the article of the week. The article of the week, which is, as always, posted in the description if you're watching this on the YouTube, and it is in the questions and answers section or the chat if you are watching this live. This one is students applying to college earlier, weighing costs and choices. So if you look at the link and you click on that, it should show you the Dayton Daily News, students applying to college earlier, weighing costs and choices. So I'm just going to jump back to the live stream really quickly and make sure that all of you are getting the right link. Yeah? Yes. Okay. All right, great. So students applying to college earlier, weighing costs and choices. So this is a great article for all of you juniors to look at because things are changing rapidly. And I tell people this all of the time. Just because you know what worked literally this year to get the scholarship, to get your application on time, to have your FAFSA done, what college was the best one, what college was easier or harder to get into, that does not dictate necessarily next year. And this is a perfect example of this. So even as most enter the month of winter break with more than half a school year until graduation, many high school seniors have already started college application season as they seek to convince schools to accept them and help them financially. And again, if you're one of my seniors and you're a part of this program, you way applied like a while ago. Like you were looking at it August 1st. You already had some things worked out. You've talked to an essay support person. You've gotten that all worked out, and you applied before the October 31st deadline at midnight. So, you guys don't have to worry about this. But for all of you who may be new, or if you're watching this online, it seems that admission, scholarship, and financial aid deadlines are earlier in the cycle than in past years, said Rob Durkel, UD's Dean of Admission and Financial Aid. Students need to pay close attention to the various deadlines if they want full consideration. Pause. What this person just said is you need to pay close attention to the various deadlines, meaning there are multiple deadlines for multiple things. If you want full consideration, meaning for acceptance and early acceptance and scholarships. Unpause, game on. Many schools like Ohio State and the University of Dayton have a final application deadline around February 1st, while others, including Wright State, Central State, and Wilmington, offer rolling admissions all the way until August. Yeah. It gets harder and harder. By the way, with rolling admissions, this is a really important point. Let's say that you really want to go to Wilmington. Rolling admissions gets harder and harder to get into the longer you wait. So by August, there are the least amount of slots left. So they are looking for less and less people, which means if you all of a sudden got in last minute and there were 10 people that maybe were a little bit better than you when you applied, they may get the seat and you may not. Whereas if you apply in the beginning and they don't really know who's all going to apply, they might just be like, oh yeah, we'll take you. That's good. And then it gets more and more competitive toward the end. So people often think the opposite, that they'll take anyone toward the end. That's not true. Your best bet for rolling admissions is apply early so that you get consideration when they're not stressing out that they don't have enough seats for everybody. Okay. But college admissions counselors point out the importance of knowing all the deadlines of their schools, which in some cases can be as early as November 1st. Yep. Especially for consideration for financial aid. Ohio State tells students it strongly recommends applying by November 1st each year to be considered for certain scholarships and special programs. So that would be like getting into an honors program. So there are certain schools that have amazing honors programs. Like, and I mention Indiana all the time, but Miami has a great honors program for many of their programs. But for business, there are a lot of schools that have a fast track or an honors program where they put in a very limited number of students. Those students are fast tracked to great opportunities in school. They typically are the ones that are the first picks for the better internships, for specific programs where they have speakers come in and do seminars with them, just them, not you, just them. So you want to become them so that it could be just you and not everybody else. It's really, this is important. Even schools with very late deadlines encourage students to submit the free application for federal student aid, FAFSA, if you haven't heard that yet, early to be eligible for all possible aid. Wright State sets its priority deadline to file the FAFSA as January 8th, and that's late. Kara Conarosi, a Fairmont High School senior who included some elite schools among her 8 applications, said she's written more than 30 essays and mini essays in the past few months. Ouch. What stood out to me was how different each college's application was, she said. For UD, I didn't have to fill out any extra essay. For Yale, there were like 10 different responses from 50 words to 250 words. Yeah, so you may be doing a lot of work if you didn't plan ahead. This is why I always talk about planning ahead. Why are we talking about the college application process as a junior? Because by the time next year hits, so 2019, okay, in March, we will be looking at your solid college list. Hopefully, if you've been following along, and if you need to, you've worked with a specific person that helps you get that college list and get everything set up for yourself. And so we're already talking about that in March, because and SAT and ACT, we are hopefully thinking about now, and we're getting studying done for that so that you can really do well on that in the spring and in the early summer. Because by the time fall hits, by August 1st, there will be 30 or 40 essays that you will have to have had done for that October 31st deadline. Think about that. And for rolling admissions, you may want to apply even sooner. And for early action, early decision, the sooner the better. And remember, you have to get a lot more in than just those essays and just the SAT scores. You have to get your resume sent in. You need letters of recommendation from people. So there are people that you need to depend on, and you will have to hound to get information to your colleges specifically so that you can be considered on time for all of these scholarships and honors programs. So just keep that in mind, because I know that we're the high achievers, right? But to get the best chance at the best programs and the money for it, heed my warning. Heed my warning. The sky is falling. No, not that warning. There's that warning, but there's also the warning that think about it now. We're going to talk about it in March. You will have started writing things in July. And when August hits, when that Common App opens, you will be able to fill out most of that so that August, September, October is focused just on the essays that come out then and just on getting those people to send in what you need for schools that are looking to consider you early. If you wait until now, imagine a world where it's December and it's cold and it gets dark early and you're a senior. It's a little hard to focus, little senioritis creeping in. It's crawled up your leg. Before it was just on your foot. Now it's going up your leg. It's making it harder and harder to stand up and go to school. And now you find out you have 30 essays to fill out and it's rolling admissions for some of your schools and that you've missed already the early action, early decision schools. So now you're scrambling to get some of these December 13th, December 20th deadlines because it'll be moved up again and you didn't realize because you thought, well, you know, my brother or my sister or my friend, they all had to do it by January 8th. But then, of course, as Eric predicted, they changed the deadlines again. And now not only do you have to scramble to do all that, but you really need to push to get that last SAT score in because you didn't do it and you didn't do it that well because you didn't do it in the March deadline. What Eric was talking to you about in January, you just kind of ignored it. And that didn't give you the practice that you needed to do really well in the summer session for ACT and SAT. In that world, you're a very stressed out version of yourself. In the world that I hope that you build for yourself, you've already considered these things. You already have your SAT or ACT prep book. You've talked to your guidance counselor about which they think it'd be better for you, better suited for your learning style. You've already gotten a college list kind of together, but you've kind of figured out what you're looking for. And you're looking forward to studying so that you can do well on the March of your junior year test because you're working hard and you want to work smart and make sure that by senior year, you only have 10 things on your plate instead of 20. So that's really what I'm looking at for here. There's going to be a little bit more information about this, but also I want to talk about college costs. The cost of college is a concern for almost all families, with about 2/3 of Ohio college graduates taking on student loan debt and an average close to $30,000 per borrower. That's pretty low. I actually think it's higher than that. But for the very top students, the door to some of the nation's elite universities has opened wider in recent years. Yale and much of the Ivy League, as well as Stanford, Vanderbilt, and several others, now promise to cover all of a student's demonstrated financial need without loans. Few students get in, but they get out with less debt. Notre Dame, with a sticker cost of more than $65,000 a year, advertises that families making $80,000 to $100,000 paid a median cost of $18,695 for their freshmen, which is less than the sticker cost of tuition, room, and board at Ohio public universities, which is $21,000 to $29,000 a year. So it's important to understand that your out-of-pocket cost, knowing that student loans are dollars to you, you will have to pay back while grants and scholarships are not repaid. So, you know, it's hammering the point home that doing it early gets you more scholarships. Scholarships, good. No scholarships, bad. Loans, very bad, because college is going to keep getting more expensive. So scholarships will become more and more necessary, and especially for you guys next year. The other part that I really want to hammer home here is that it's getting harder to get into these better schools because, as I was just saying to my freshmen and sophomores, the pyramid's getting sharper. So it's getting to be a finer and finer point, which means the elite schools are getting better and better, but more and more people are applying and less people can get in than percentage-wise than before because they're not just making 3,000 more seats at Harvard. It's just not happening. So it's like we have the same amount. Maybe we can take in 20 more students than we did last year, but 3,000 more students applied this year than last year. I mean, these are real differences in numbers. And so, yes, if you get in, you could get good scholarship money and you could do really well. But being more competitive is more important than ever, which is why it pays to plan ahead. So look at your junior year as your last year in school as a student in high school, because by your senior year, you are going to be a college application machine, at least until October 31st. When you can put the pen down and you can close the laptop and make sure that everything's been sent. Look at it twice again because sometimes the school forgot to send part of your application and it shows incomplete. But after you've gotten the green light and everything's shown complete, you can breathe easily knowing that Eric was right, and you were super competitive, and now you got the scholarship you need to go to that school. And this has been the article of the week. I'm really happy to have talked about this with you guys, because when I talk to juniors in high school, one of the most important things that I can get out of this is that reaction and that feeling of, oh my gosh, I had no idea, because that will translate into work and effort ahead of time, which will make you not freak out when you're seniors, and we really can't do much about it. So, you know, Game of Thrones, winter's coming. It's true. This stuff is coming. Next year's coming. So you need to be prepared. Really, you do. And honestly, if you want that competitive edge, it just always pays to be more forward thinking. So, you know, think about that. I do want to get into the questions and answers. We do have some important things to discuss as a team. And but for all of you who are on the YouTubes, I do have to say goodbye to you. Farewell. Please jump into next week's live stream as a subscriber. It will be free for you, and I can answer your questions. The best part of what I was not waking up, because that's not even Folgers in your coffee. I don't like bad coffee. The point is, I can't wait to see you asking questions that I can then answer, because I do happen to have this stuff that's called expert advice, and I can't wait to impart it on you. And your question will very likely help everybody else, because they probably don't even think to ask that question. And you just happen to be the awesome one that's going to. So I can't wait to hear that and answer that. Until then, adieu.